Today, we got a good one for you. We're going to talk about three things men consider when choosing the woman that they want to marry. Again, I'm Coach B, former lifelong bachelor. Of course, I do this channel with my wife, Natasha, who is a former single mom of four. But today, she's relaxing. She's just chilling, doing some other things. So I wanted to jump on and give you ladies some of the things that men are thinking and they're considering when they're choosing the wife that they desire to be with. Not just a woman to hang out with, spend time, not a girlfriend, not someone who's in a situationship, someone you've been together with for 4, 5, 6 years, but they haven't asked you to marry them. No, this is what men are considering when and this is what men value when they're choosing a wife. I'm going to give you 3 points. Got some questions to answer as well. So definitely get your questions ready. Want to help you ladies out today. Also get your pen pads out because these three keys that men value are going to be so good, are going to help you along your journey, positioning yourself to attract that healthy, masculine energy man. And the first point, as I jump right into it, the things that men value when considering their wife, number one, and this is without a doubt, it's a woman and her background, her values, her morals. So, of course, men are looking for women that look good, smell good, all of that. That goes without saying. We don't even have to have that conversation. But when we're talking about a man of value looking for a woman to marry, what a man is looking at is her value system, her morals, because what this does is it allows the man to know, is this woman a type of woman who can raise our kids? The type of woman that I could trust, that she actually is living and has other people that she's accountable to. These values that she has in place, we understand as men that these values are going to lead you throughout your journey in life. So as you go on in life, decisions that you make are going to be based on that. So if your values and morals aren't on point, or if we're looking at your family and we see that, okay, the family structure or how the family communicates with each other isn't something that we're comfortable with, we're going to decide to go in a different direction, because how you're communicating with your brothers, how you're communicating with your parents, your cousin. If you don't, if you don't talk to them, if you haven't talked to them in 5, 10 years, if they did something to you, and it's just like, I've moved on, I no longer talk to them, I don't deal with them, they're jealous of me, whatever the case is, that shows us how you deal with people that are close to you. And one thing we understand is, no matter how good we are to you, no matter how much of a match you are for us in our mind, the same behaviors that you've shown with your family, with those that are close to you, is eventually the same thing that we're going to see. It's going to show up at our front door at a point in time when we may not be ready for it, but we understand that this was there all along. So men are definitely looking to see, what values does she have? Is she someone who, even if things aren't going, necessarily the same way, is she going to a higher power? In our case, is she going to God? Is she going to Jesus? Or is she just going to figure it out on her own? Or is she just going to move off of her emotions in situations? Because one thing we understand, and this is without a shadow of a doubt, if you're in a relationship, if you're with someone, it's always going to be different challenges that arise. And these challenges aren't necessarily things that are bad, but you're bringing two people together and you're becoming one. So your way of thinking, your way of doing things is merging with the other person. So when that happens, it's going to be times when we don't see eye to eye. But what point are we going to have an agreement? Is it going to be, okay, this is my way, this is your way, we just gonna have to figure it out, or you have to trust what I said because this, I know this works? No, no, not as someone who's looking for a wife. A man won't even consider that because it's too much energy. It's too much back and forth. Men are seeking peace, are seeking just a relaxed environment at home. And when a man feels like morally we don't match up, we don't have the same values, we know things have the potential to be chaotic. Things have the potential to go off the ledge. And now, you're out of control. You can't, this situation has gone somewhere. We don't have a middle meeting ground. We don't morally, we're not on the same page. We haven't decided that, okay, no matter what happens, this is where we're going to meet up. And if you don't have a moral compass that aligns and your values aren't similar, then the man is going to decide this may not be the wife for me. And trust me, you see it so often. You see ladies that are, beauty models, actresses. You see successful women, and you're looking like, why isn't this woman married? Why doesn't she have someone who's committed their life to her? And a lot of times it could be something as simple as morally values, those don't line up. And that's one area that a healthy masculine energy man is not. I mean, he's not going to negotiate. He's not going to give you a pass. No, that's too important because not only is it our relationship, but like I said, it's something that's going to affect the kids, how we raise the kids, how we go about, teaching the kids, what we're teaching the kids. All of this matters when we're looking at wives, not just the looks, not that she's beautiful. Oh, look at her, she's drop dead gorgeous. I don't, man, they dropped the bag with her. No, no. Men aren't concerned about that. Men want to make sure that the home front is good, that everything at home is peaceful, everything at home is in order, and we're on the same page morally and with our values. So that's the number one point, without a doubt, the values that you have, your morals, and how you go about making decisions. That's what men really value when they're looking for someone, not just to date, not just to be in a situation with, but to marry. And that takes me straight to the second point. And again, I'm going to get to your questions for sure. Going to talk a little bit about what Coach Tosh has coming up this weekend for the ladies. She's releasing something new in the Feminine Energy Academy around communication, dating, do's and don'ts. I'll get to that shortly. I want to get to the second point though. And the second point, as far as what men are looking for when they're considering you as a wife, is a woman and her attitude, and is she triggered? Your attitude in situation. And it comes out so often. It can be the smallest things. Now, men won't say this. Men won't come to you and say, I'm checking out your attitude to see if you're wife material. No, they're going to look, they're going to observe, they're going to have conversations. And a healthy masculine energy man, we don't want to get, we're not, it's not even we don't want to. We're not going to get into arguments with you. We're not going to go back and forth with you. We're not going to have standoffs. We're not going to come home and, now you just have something to say to us and we're going to sit there and just listen and take it. No, we're going to make sure that your attitude is an attitude of gratefulness, thankfulness, just love being around each other. Not when we come home from a 12-hour workday, we come home from running errands and doing all this other stuff. And then you have an attitude because we forgot something or because we left out and we didn't close, the bathroom door. We didn't turn off the light and you just have an attitude. We forgot to put something up before we left the house in the morning. No, your attitude shows, and it shows from the beginning, even from the beginning point of when you're dating someone. When a guy asks you out to eat, he takes you out to eat, the type of restaurant he takes you to. And I say this all the time to the ladies. When you're getting to know a guy, initially, most guys won't take you, and start investing in you day one. Most guys are going to see how things go. They may take you to coffee. They may take you, to get a sandwich, something real light, because they understand that they don't want to waste their resources, their time, their energy giving you all this, and they don't even know what type of person you are. So the first date or two, you may get coffee, you may go for a walk or something like that. But your attitude, if you're grateful, if you're just excited to be there, and Coach Tosh talks about this all the time, it's just you having fun. Are you grateful, having fun, enjoying yourself, or are you looking like, why are we going here? Or, I don't do coffee dates, or, you're going to have to spend money to be with me. We're watching attitudes, we're watching your response. And if your response is good, Men will do so much. I mean, if you're in your fun energy, your response is good, men would love it. And you'll see men just step up, want to take you out, want to spend time with you. But if you have an attitude or if you're triggered, okay, the waitress, she didn't make my food the way I wanted her to. So now you're triggered. Men aren't going to say anything in a moment necessarily, but men are taking notes. And one of the reasons why is as men, we're your protectors, we're your provider, we're taking care of you. So when we're out moving about, we want peace. We're not out looking to get into arguments. We're not out looking to have to defend you because you just lost it. And that becomes a safety issue because now we're out. And if you have an attitude, if you're triggered and you're not able to control yourself, guess who has to step up and make sure things are good? Us as the men, we have to step up and get in between to make sure everything is good. And we have to step up and tell you to step back. Now we're putting ourselves in harm's way potentially. So not that men are scared, okay, we can't provide. No, it's no for us. It's no use to go down that road. That's a waste of time for us. That's not a good use of our energy. That's not a good use of who we are. We want to make sure that as we're presenting ourselves, that everything is good. And if we have a woman who who's triggered, who has an attitude, who can't control herself, now this is a reflection of us. We walk into an environment, you just have to say something. You have to do this. You can't hold back. Now that we're putting ourselves in harm's danger. So having an attitude, someone who can't control themselves, someone who's triggered easily. And we talk about this so much in the Feminine Energy Academy about being triggered, about understanding your own triggers and getting healing from them. Not only is it helpful for you, but it's helpful in relationships because healthy masculine energy men aren't going to want to be with a woman like that because we're not going to get into an argument with you. We're not going to go back and forth with you. We're not going to get loud with you. And even with my wife and I, we've never had an argument or anything where we've raised our voice at each other. It's one thing to have a disagreement, but when you start raising your voice, what it does as a man sometimes, and this isn't healthy men, but a man sometimes when you start raising your voice and coming at him, now he could look at you as another man because that's your energy. It's that masculine energy where you're coming at him, where you're poking your chest out, while you're telling him about himself. I just got to say this because this is how I feel. Now, an unhealthy man will look at you as a man coming at him. And now he goes into that mode where, okay, I have to make sure I protect myself because this person right here, I'm not sure what they're capable of. So you don't want to go down that road because, first off, you want to attract a healthy masculine energy man. Secondly, even if you attract a man, this won't be a man. If a man's willing to go back and forth with you, that's not a man you want to attract either because things can go haywire, things can go in the wrong direction. And a healthy masculine energy man doesn't want that from the woman that he's with. So I'm going to give you the third point. Also, any questions you have, definitely add your questions down at the bottom. I know we've had a lot of women that have asked questions about their relationship and they potentially cross lines. How do they recover? I'll get to those questions shortly as well. What's going on, Christy? Christy in the Feminine Energy Academy is on. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you as well. Pulled out I don't know if this is red or orange, burnt orange, what it is, but I had to pull something out because Coach Tosh didn't help me get dressed today. I threw it on my own. So hopefully it's good for the camera. But before I move on, I want to make sure I add this for the ladies who want to join the Feminine Energy Academy. It's a 7-day free trial right now where this weekend, and I'm looking at my notes, so forgive me, but this weekend, Tasha is adding a new feminine energy communication and texting cheat sheet for the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy. Only is for the women with their dating phase all the way up until marriage. So a lot of times, you come in, you're at this point, but it's like, okay, what do I do now that I'm here? What she's adding into the Feminine Energy Academy is for ladies that are who are just starting to date or who are already married, this applies to all of you. You can access it in the FEA only. It's the do's and the don'ts on communicating, texting, the cheat sheet for you. So she's giving you all the answers. You don't have to try to figure it out. You don't have to get in your masculine, try to make this work. No, she's doing the work for you. Now you just have to do it. You have to just embody it. You just have to become it and watch these results. So definitely the link is below. So anyone that wants to jump in, definitely jump in. Shout out to Alicia as well in the Feminine Energy Academy. We have Sophia in New York in the Feminine Energy Academy as well. All the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy jumping on. Definitely appreciate you. These ladies have seen so much transformation just within the last few months. And we're definitely proud of each and every one of you. So let me just do a recap and then I'll get to the third point. So three things that men value in women as they're in the women that they're looking to potentially marry. Again, number one, the thing that they value is a woman who has values, morals, how you are with your family. We're really looking to see because we're stepping into that role. We're stepping in as your family now. So now everything that you've already been doing, now we're going to feel it, if it's good or bad. So we want to make sure we're stepping in with our eyes wide open. We're not stepping in blinded. We want to make sure we understand how you treat your family, how you treat your kids, how you act around them, how you talk about them when they're not around. All that matters. And I know Coach Tosh talked about that as well. Even with us getting to know each other before we got married, it was about how I talked about my sisters, my brother, my parents, and as well for her talk how she talked about her family, her mother, her kids. All of that mattered to me. All of that I was taking note because I was looking at it as okay, she values them. She'll do whatever she needs to do to make sure that her family's good, her immediate family and her mom and her, her cousins or whatever the case is. She spoke well of them, and for me, that was so key. And the second thing is the attitude, your attitude as a woman. Are you easily triggered? How do you move about your day when you're out, when things don't go your way? How do you respond? All of that is so key. But the number three thing, and trust me, this is so key as well. The number three thing that men value in women that they're looking to potentially marry is your past. Your past matters to a man. Your past is big for a man because what you've done in your past, a lot of times we understand that it's part of who you are. So if we're out with you, if we're going out and we come across people that you've encountered in your past and it's not a good report or something like that, what it does is it takes a little bit respect away from us as men. So people don't value us or respect us in the way that probably is the way that we need when we're around you. And we understand, everyone has a past, but how is that past affecting you right now? Is it that people are still calling you, your nickname from when you were in the, doing things in your 20s? Are you still referred to in that way? Do they still view you that way? Because for a man, the type of woman that he's with shows what type of value he has. So first, it's about how you look, okay, how you present in the look. Then about how you're viewed. And I say this, I know a lot of men agree as well with this. I married my wife who was from Canada, and we understand everybody has a past, but she's from Canada. Nobody from where I'm from Chicago, knows her. They don't know her past. I don't know her past isn't, coming up or anything like that. So I feel comfortable. I'm good. Now, if she was from the hood and I grew up in Chicago, I grew up in North Lawndale area, and those are some great people over there, it kind of helped mold me into who I am. But if I married someone over there who had a reputation that wasn't the best, then it's going to be a reflection on me because everybody knows her, everybody's been with her, and now they're looking at me like, okay, so you was the one who won. You was the one who wifed her. You was the one who, took her off the streets. And that matters to men. It may not make sense, but it matters to men because we understand that for women, you're looking at our future. You're looking at, are we able to provide? Are we potentially able to take care of you? Are we going to make enough money? What type of career do you have? Are you going to, are you settling right there? Or are you looking to, get something else, get a degree? Are you going to start a business? All of that matters to a woman. And it's okay. As men, we understand that. As men, we accept it. We say, okay, we might not like it, we might not agree, and that's some men, but we're going to have to skill up. We're going to have to put ourselves in position to make sure we can show you as the woman, because this is what you need. This is what you're requesting. This is how you're wired. You need a man who's going to provide for you. You need a man who you trust that he's going to take care of you from now to the end of time. In the future, he's going to take care of your kids. He's going to be there to protect you all. You need this from a man, and we accept it. So we go out, we get degrees, we get jobs, we go work 2 3 jobs. We do whatever we need to do to make sure we show you, because we understand coming to you, we can't come with talk. We can't come to a healthy feminine woman. We can't come and just talk our way into being with you. No, you need to see what we're doing and where we're going, because as women, you don't want to just take a man off of potential only. You want to see where he's at. Because if nothing ever changes, and you can't control that, you would hope things change for the better. But you're good. He's good where he's at. He has a great job. He's doing great things. He loves his family. He provides for people. He's able to take care of them. If he's doing that, oh, he goes to the top of the list. So the same thing with a man. We're looking like if her background comes back clean, or at least her background is not following her to this day. And I'll go into that as well. That'll lead me straight into a couple of the questions. But if her background is good, and we aren't, there's no tape out there, or there's nothing that'll make the guy look bad. Because when we're thinking about ourselves on how we look. We're not thinking about how you look. That's the reality of it. When we're married to you, now we are in that protecting, provided, want to make sure you feel safe, want to make sure, you feel secure. But before we get married, we're thinking about, how does being with you help or hurt me? And if it doesn't, and if it hurts me more than it helps me, and that could be financially, that could be in any area, that can be reputation wise, because a man is as good as his name. So if his name doesn't carry weight in different circles, then he doesn't get different opportunities. If his name isn't respected in different circles, then people don't want to be around him. So we're looking at, does she bring value to the relationship in that area or not? And if she does, then great. I mean, you'll see most healthy masculine energy men, when they find a wife who checks the boxes, who looks the part, who's nice, who looks good in the face, thin in the waist, doesn't have much to say, they'll wife her up quicker. You'll see 3 to 6 months. They're getting married, they're getting engaged. He's looking to take her off the market. If they met online, he's taking her off the app. He's flying out to go see her. He's buying her stuff, not because she's asking, but because he values her, but because he sees what type of woman she is. And as men, we're not out here trying to find, if as healthy masculine energy men, we're not out here trying to find, okay, is it 2 3 women that are wives? Can I find 2 or 3 wives? No. The first one I find that meets all my standards that I want and need, then we're going to snatch her up. I don't care if you're a waitress. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what your background is as far as education. You can have a high school diploma, whatever the case is. Men aren't looking at that. They're looking at, is she a wife? Because we know if she's a wife and if she's in her feminine, then it's so much easier. It's so much easier to give her the other things that she doesn't have. Like men will help you get to where you're at. I know cases even within my family where women have gotten married and they've had thousands of dollars in debt. They had things that they've owned that they just needed to get rid of, and men have come in and said, okay, let's get this off your plate. Let me take care of this because this isn't helpful for you. And men are willing to do that. So it's so important. Those three things, and I'll go over them again. Number one, your values with your family, your morals. That's so important for men that are looking for women, for men that value women that they desire to marry. Your values, your morals, how you treat your family, how you treat people. Number two, your attitude. Are you triggered? How do you respond in situations where things may not go your way? So important. And number three, your past as a woman matters so much. And sexually, of course, your past, but that's not the only thing. It's not just sexually, but your past in general. I want you ladies to really understand that because I don't want you to get triggered on it. I don't want you to start feeling like, well, what about his past? What about if he's been with all these women and, I got to worry about his past too. You can worry about his past, but your focus is totally different. Healthy masculine energy, healthy feminine energy women. Your focus is so much different because you're worrying about the future. Men are worrying about the past. And one of the questions that I want to get to, and again, jump into the feminine energy academy. We go so much deeper with this. Tosh gives her feminine perspective, gives you tools, gives you audio so you can embody becoming this woman that men just love, desire to be with, that men are just falling all over for. You become irresistible as a woman when you embody the things that Natasha says. And I give you the male's perspective just to let you know how we're thinking, just to let you know what's going on. Because it's one thing to say, okay, when you're talking to your girls, you're talking to people, they're just telling you everything you want to hear. And that's great. We want to lift each other up, but we don't want to go past what men desire. Because what I always say is, as you're looking to get a job, as you're looking for different opportunities, you're looking to maybe buy a house, you're looking to get an apartment, rent an apartment out. They're always going to ask for your resume. They're going to ask for your financial resume. If you're looking for a house, for an apartment, they're going to ask for your work resume. When you're looking for work, they're going to look at what jobs have you been at? What have you done at those jobs? They're not just going to hire you because you're pretty. They're not just going to hire you because you're funny, because, oh, I just love being around her. She's so cute. She's so pretty. No, they're not hiring you. They're not giving you that house. They're not giving you that apartment just because I'm me. That's it. I'm enough. That's enough right here. What you think? That's all you need is me right here. No, that's not the way things work. They're going to need to see a resume. They're going to need to see your past. And it's the same with men. You have to understand what a man wants, what he's looking for, so you can position yourself, so you can put yourself at the front of the line. And I know, especially for the ladies, the boss ladies, the ladies that have gotten into all these, that get opportunities, things like this. The last thing you want to do is wait in line. Wait in line if you're going to a club, if you're going to a bar, if you're going to a nice establishment, you need to get to the front of the line. I don't know who I need to talk to, but you walking in there, you on point. You dressed up, you got your makeup on point because you understand they're letting the ones with who look the best, the ones with the best resume, they're letting them in first. And you want to be a part of that. So getting to the front of the line, there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to have the information. You have to have the cheat sheet. Just like the cheat sheet that Tosh put together in the Feminine Energy Academy. She's going to release it this weekend. She's adding it. It's the FEA communication and texting cheat sheet for the women in the dating phase all the way up until they're married. It's in the Feminine Energy Academy. It's a 7-day free trial. You have full access to everything in the FEA. You get to binge watch all the videos, all the audios you get to listen to. But she's going to give you the do's and the don'ts when it comes down to texting and communication within the dating phase to marriage. So definitely you want to check it out. The link is below. I did want to get to a couple of points and questions that a lot of women have been asking because we've been talking about a few things in our videos and women and just about, how to go about being in a relationship and some of the do's and don'ts with that. And one of the things that we talked about within that is really not crossing the boundaries in the dating phase when you're talking to a guy, and in the boundary of having sex. We've talked about that. And, it's so true. Just to kind of recap it a little, when you're in the dating phase, getting to know someone, you're rotationally dating, it's so important during that phase that you're not allowing the guys to cross boundaries. And what the ladies are asking is, okay, what if I've crossed some boundaries? What if I've had sex with a couple of men? Not a couple of men. What if I've had sex with a man? This is what the ladies are saying. If they've had sex with a man, and how do they recover from that? Is it any redemption once they've crossed that line? And what's the next step for them? So, from a man's perspective, it's so important to understand. And Christina, I'll get to your question as well. Christina, who's in the Feminine Energy Academy. So once you cross that line, that boundary, you've had sex with him before marriage, even a lot of times it's before you even establish that you're even dating exclusively. And we always suggest and we encourage you all to wait until marriage. I know it's challenging, I know it's difficult, but trust me, men respect you more. It pushes that wedding date up in a lot of cases where men know they really want to be with you. You have good energy, you're fun to be around, you're in your feminine. They know if you're a wife, then they're willing to wait. But what they're not going to do, they're not going to push it back. It's not going to be a pushback in a wedding day. They're either going to step up or they're going to fall off. And if they step up, that guy's going to want to marry you right away. I'm talking about 3 to 6 months. He's going to be ready to marry you, walk you down the aisle, and start his life with you. But going back to the point, once you've already crossed the line and had sex with him before marriage, is there redemption? And the short answer to it is potentially, yes. But you can't concern yourself with that. You can't worry about, oh, I really like him. I want to be with him. What can I do to get him back respecting me or wanting to be with me? That's not something that you need to worry about. The only thing you need to do from that point forward as a woman is make a decision. Make a decision that you're no longer going to have a sexual relationship with this man that you're not married to. You're not going to connect with him in that way. And however he responds, you can't control it. Plenty of times people have crossed the line in relationships, they recovered and things have worked out, but you're not doing it for him. You're not doing it so he can see you. And it goes back to our point yesterday where you're doing stuff for the man, to get him. You're not doing this to get him. You're doing this because it's the right thing to do in the case where you're not crossing these boundaries anymore with him. It's almost like it's a reset. And sometimes men aren't willing to reset. And you have to be okay with that. But it's about potentially having that conversation with him. However he responds, you can't be triggered. It can't be something that has you like all up in arms, just upset. No, you made this decision within yourself. You made peace with yourself about this decision. And no matter what's happened up to this point, moving forward, you're doing things differently. And if it's not something that works for him, wish him the best, move on, and continue to live your life. You have to be willing, when you have that conversation with him, you have to be willing to lose that relationship. And in some cases, losing that relationship is best. Even with Coach Tosh and I, when she detached and went silent because we talked for a few months, we got together, and then things just went haywire. It wasn't going anywhere. We were talking, but things were just kind of like leveled off. I wasn't making moves. I didn't go see her, things that I should have been doing if I wanted to show her that I wanted to be with her. Instead of her sitting around, she decided to detach, go silent, and she had a conversation with me, and she wished me the best. And for a man, that's the worst thing that you can hear. A calm woman that you want to be with, wishing you the best in life. I'm looking like, what the heck is going on? That's not what happens to me. And our ego, our pride, you can't wish me the best. No, I wish you the best. Whatever the case is, but when she wished me the best, I knew that she had made up her mind. It wasn't an emotional decision, but she had made a decision because she knew that the way we were going wasn't leading to what she desired. She had already she had already established within herself that she wanted to get married within a certain time frame, and she wasn't leaving that up to me. She wasn't saying, "Okay, if you don't marry me in 6 months, then I'm not going to be with you." No, she knew what she wanted to do. I wasn't talking the same language, so she did what was the best thing to do. She did the right thing, because if she wouldn't have done that, then it wouldn't have triggered me to really look at our relationship. What do I want out of this relationship? Is she potentially the person that I want to be with? And not having her in my presence showed me that she was the person that I wanted to be with. So I did some things on my own. I got therapy, I got counseling, I started leveling up in different areas. So when I came back to her, now I'm coming back to her sure of myself, sure of wanting to be with her, having specifics like, okay, I want to be with you, I want to potentially marry you. And that's not enough to just say that, because a man will come back and say that just like I did. And then he'll go right back to what he was doing at first, just doing whatever, messing around, not really taking things serious, but it's the action behind it. So I had the action right behind it. So when you have that conversation with him, if you do, because you're talking about redemption, can this work? Go into it knowing that potentially you'll never be with him again. And you have to be okay with that within yourself. But you have to do this because you want to attract a healthy masculine energy man. You don't want to attract a man who just likes you, who likes being around you, who a man who texts you, "I've been thinking about you." And in your mind, you're like, "What you mean?" Like, okay. But men will do that. "I'm thinking about you, I just wanted to say hi, you was on my mind." You don't want those type of conversations. You want a man who's going to call you, who's going to come see you, who's going to have action behind his words. And when you make that decision, not only does it help you potentially in that situation, but it helps you moving forward because you have a new standard, you have your boundaries in place. Now you're able to attract that healthy masculine energy man, if it's him or if it's someone else, but you're totally detached from who it is. You just know you're positioning yourself for that man. So definitely there is redemption potentially, but you have to do your work first. So Christina, who's in the Feminine Energy Academy, she says, "What does compatibility mean for a masculine man?" So, what does compatibility mean? So, I don't generally use the words like, "Okay, I need somebody I'm compatible with," but what it what it looks like for most healthy masculine energy men is just someone who when you're around them, it doesn't feel like pressure. It doesn't feel like you have to perform. It just feels natural to be around them. Now, most healthy masculine energy men, I'm not looking for women that, I like going to games, I like playing dominoes, I like playing spades. That's our game in certain communities. That's not compatibility. It's someone who understands what I'm doing as far as with my life, my direction, understands that, okay, I may be out till 10 o'clock because I'm working. I may be, doing this. I may have to travel. I may have to do things. It's my lifestyle that you understand and that we have an agreement and we're compatible with that. We're compatible understanding that I'm looking to provide and protect you. So whatever it takes for me to do that, I'm going to do it. And sometimes I may not be available. Sometimes I may need to go out and just, clear my mind. I may need to go in the garage. I may need to go in my, man cave and just get to myself so I can think clearly. So compatibility for a man is less about what we're doing together, but understanding each other, understanding me as a man, understanding how to function within our relationship, understanding that we're coming from two different worlds, but this is why we're together. So all the decisions that we're making is centered around our decision to be together. So when you're looking at a man, men, I don't know exactly how women look at compatibility, but for men, it's about someone who fits into my life like a sleeve. Someone who, makes things easier in certain areas for each other. You make it easier for me to, just want to come home. Come home at the end of the night because I know I'm coming home to a healthy, healed, feminine energy woman who understands, okay, I haven't eaten all day. She may make a meal. She may have bought me something because, depending on your schedule, you might not be able to cook. but she makes sure that I have something to eat. She makes sure that coming in, that I'm feeling good. She's not just coming, talking to me, telling me all about herself and what just happened in her day when I've just gone through a 12-hour day. I want to hear about it, but not right now. So it's really about understanding each other and being able to function within our day to day life with each other, no matter what field we're in, no matter what line of work we're in. But we're compatible because we enjoy being around each other and we help make each other's life easier mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that. I think I saw, what's up, Tisa? Tisa in the Feminine Energy Academy as well. We have Sammy as well. Sammy with the diamond, one of our founding members in the Feminine Energy Academy. Sammy had a question. How did she word it to you? I don't know if I answered it in the conversation when she detached and went silent. Well, it just got to a point we had a conversation and she said, um, we've been talking for a while, and I can't say it verbatim, but I'm kind of summing it up. We've been talking for a while. I enjoy getting to know you. Even meeting and hanging out, everything is great. But at this point, it seems like you're busy. It seems like you have a lot going on. It seems like you don't have time for a relationship. And I don't want to hold you up. I don't want to be a hindrance or a burden. And she wasn't, but she was basically, letting me down easy in a sense. She's like, I don't want to be a hindrance or a burden to you. And that was because it was just conversation. It was conversation on the phone. We were FaceTiming. And, for her, that wasn't enough. So she let me know that she wished me the best, but at this time, it doesn't look like I'm looking for what she's looking for in a relationship that's leading to marriage. So she's going to just separate herself and move on. So enjoy yourself and basically have a good life. There was nothing about, if things change in a couple months, give me a call. It was nothing about, um, I'll still be thinking about you. If something happens, if you need me for anything, let me know. It was none of that. It was like, okay, have a good life. And, me within myself in a moment as a man, I'm not about to sit up there and show any emotion during that time or, just beg or anything. In my heart, I was like, oh, this is not good. So I had to recalibrate. But in that moment, she let me down and I'll say let me down, but she had a conversation with me in a way where she was letting me know that she liked me, but it's not working out and she didn't want to waste her time. So she was moving on from me. So that's how that conversation with Sammy. Hopefully that helped understand it. And you also said if y'all hadn't tried it out, then the break, etc., do you think the timeline would have changed as a result? It's hard to say. So, what she's saying, if we wouldn't have tried it out and crossed boundaries initially when we first got together, like we talked about, would the timeline have changed? That I don't know because so many things happen once you cross that boundary. But as we were getting to know each other, we got engaged and married within 11 months. So we got engaged in 8 months and then we got married 3 months later. So the timeline might not have been too much different considering it moved pretty quickly. But what happened is we had different mentalities moving forward in it. Now we approached the relationship differently. Now for me, because I'd been engaged one time, the engagement broke off. But outside of that, I had never been engaged. I was in my dating journey leading up into that. The dating phase hadn't got past dating. Basically, it wasn't a bunch of girlfriends or anything like that. So this was a new area for me, and like most men as well. Most men are not able to say that they've been in a lot of relationships. They may have dated a lot of women, but it was new territory. So it was so important that happened because it caused me to look at things differently, approach the relationship differently, understand that this is not just another relationship or getting to know someone, but I have to approach it differently. So I'm grateful for the way that it happened. I'm not sure if it would have changed much as far as timeline because again, we got engaged and married in 11 months, but definitely it wouldn't have pushed it back. I'll say that. If anything, it would have pushed it up maybe a month or two. So definitely. Oh, we got Tisa on here as well. Natural Beauty is on here. She said, dang, Tosh did that. LOL. She was gentle with the release, though. I'm glad it worked out. I love you too. And yes, definitely. When she did it, it was definitely gentle. It was something that, she was in her feminine during that conversation. It wasn't her coming and, having an attitude, because it goes back to even what I was talking about, the 3 points earlier. She didn't have an attitude. She wasn't triggered, any of that. And I took note of that, how she handled that situation. Now, of course, at the time, I wasn't like, okay, I'm taking note just in case we get back together. No. But in hindsight, looking back, I was able to take note and see how she responded in a situation where she wasn't necessarily happy in it, or things weren't working out in the way that she desired it. So taking notes from that, now when I'm looking to find and identify a wife, I'm able to refer back to that she had the right attitude in the moment, that she wasn't triggered, that she was calm. That was so key in me even reaching back out to her later, because I can guarantee you one thing: if she would have approached it in with a different attitude, just, maybe triggered, it's most likely that I wouldn't have reached out to her. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care, how good of a person she is. I don't care what it is. If she would have had an attitude in that moment, it would have been challenging for me to want to reach out to her. That's why it's so important. If you're in situations, relationships where things aren't the way you desire it to be, don't get triggered. Don't just snap out. Not because he may come back, but because it follows you and who you are. Maybe someone sees it. Maybe someone hears about how you responded. Maybe, and ladies, please don't do this. Take note. Do not go on social media and give a story time about a previous relationship where he did something, or where he took you out to eat somewhere and you just didn't want to be there. When you do these story times, this follows you. Men are looking, this is part of the past that I was talking about. Men are looking at how you respond in situations that aren't necessarily going in your favor. And if you're doing these story times, guess what we're thinking as men? If things don't work out in the relationship, now you're going to go on there and talk about the next man. You're going to talk about how the next man, no matter if he did everything good, you're going to have a story time, because you're drawn to that. You love the attention. You love just being able to get stuff out. You were triggered. So you just have to say this. Women, stay away from the story time when you're looking to position yourself for a healthy masculine energy man that desires to be with you, that's looking for a wife. Men won't look for wives. Men will put you in a category right away and say, okay, she's not the type of woman that I want to be with. This is what men will say. She's not the type of wife. She's not a wife right now, because a wife is more meek. A wife she's able to control her emotions in a moment. But if you feel like you just have to get it out, again, the 3 points that men value when they're looking for wives: the values you have, your morals, how you are around family, your attitude. That's the second point. Your attitude. Are you triggered? And of course, your past. So you don't want to put things out there that's going to that's going to take the light out on how good of a person you are, because men are taking notes. Men are watching you. And I'm sure a lot of you ladies know, like, you'll see men out there looking at you. You're like, why is he saying anything? Men watch before they move. That's especially, and any of my guys that grew up in the city understand, before we move about, we can go into a restaurant, we can go anywhere. We're going to scan the area. We're going to make sure everything is good. Then we're going to go in. We're not just going to go in and sit down. No, men are looking. Okay, is she with a guy? Okay, does she have an attitude where she even wants somebody to come over there, or does she have a resting bee face? Men are going to watch you before they move. And that's a healthy trait for a healthy masculine energy man. And if they choose not to come over to you, it's not always, it's never, let me say this, it's never because they're intimidated. Most healthy masculine energy men, intimidated from someone's looks or from your career, that doesn't even matter to a man. Men, if they like you and want to be with you, they'll approach you. So you have to understand that men are looking. So all the story times, all the let me get this off my chest, is not something that's going to draw a healthy masculine energy man to you. Tisa has a question in the Feminine Energy Academy. And again, remember, jump in the Feminine Energy Academy. Right now, we have a 7-day free trial. Coach Tosh is releasing this weekend. She's releasing something new, the new Feminine Energy Communication and Texting Cheat Sheet. So, those of you who were in school, who didn't do well, who kept your little cheat sheet, this is for you because you might not know the work, but you're going to get the answers. You might not have studied as much as you wanted to or would needed to, but you had that cheat sheet right there. And she's going to give you the cheat sheet for the women in the dating phase all the way through marriage. So make sure you jump in. It's the do's and don'ts. You have total access to the Feminine Energy Academy with a 7-day free trial. So Tisa said, when things happen, release in the Feminine Energy Academy. That's the truth. We talk through it when you're all in your head. And it's so true. And even this year alone, up all the way up until this month and including this month as well, every month we've had someone get engaged or married every month this year. And these are single ladies that have come into the Feminine Energy Academy who were in situationships. They've come into the Feminine Energy Academy and just kind of like, what do I do? They're not even thinking about marriage. They're thinking about just getting their head out of water. They're just thinking about, how do I get out of this situationship? And they've gone from that to getting engaged and even a couple of them getting married within a short period of time. So we've been able to help thousands of women within the Feminine Energy Academy in a short time. And these, like I said, these ladies, they're from all over. They're from Uganda, they're from Sweden, they're from the US, they're from Canada, they're from Mexico. Ladies from across the world have come into the Feminine Energy Academy. They've seen the change. I'm talking about tall, short, small, women that are in the process of losing weight. Like, it's no specific prototype. These are all type of women that are getting the same results. It's because they're embodying what Coach Tosh and I are telling them. They're not just learning it from a head knowledge. It's not like, okay, I got my booklet out. I'm taking notes. I know it now. I'm good. No, they're they're overdoing it in a sense of they're listening over and over to these audios. They're just brainwashing themselves with new information. Because I love what Coach Tosh says. She says it all the time. You cannot get healed in the same environment that got you sick. So if you're trying to get healed from certain situations, from certain mindsets, you can't go to the people that got you sick. You can't go necessarily to your girlfriends who, you've been talking throughout the whole process before you met him, when you got divorced, when you hooked back up with him. No, your girlfriends are good. They have their place, but you have to understand when you're talking about getting healed, you have to get new information in. When you're talking about getting healed, it can't be from the same place that got you sick. So that's so important. That's what we go over in the Feminine Energy Academy. That's why each and every month we're releasing new information. That's what we do, the videos on YouTube to bring awareness. We want you to be aware and see exactly where you're at. But in the Feminine Energy Academy, we go deep into the healing phase of it. And that's something, especially the healing phase and understanding it from a male's perspective and from a woman's perspective. That's something that separates you in that situation. And women see results. I'm talking about in the first 24 hours. We have women jumping in and like, okay, I just joined and I'm already seeing results. People are coming up to me telling me, you're so different. They're seeing results financially where they're like, okay, I made this money. I haven't been able to get past this point, this barrier mentally. And a lot of times we think it's just in a relationship, but it's the same blocks that those money blocks are the same blocks that are stopping your relationship and even in your health. So we're helping women in all areas and women are seeing these results. So definitely want you to jump in so you can join the crusade so we can help as many women as we can. Not just you, but you telling your friends. And I have a quick story for you all. We have a lady who is in a Feminine Energy Academy and she followed us from her sister watching. Her sister told her about us. Then she jumped in, start seeing results, and they were watching us. Her sister, I believe her sister hasn't even joined the Feminine Energy Academy yet, but her sister pointed her to us They were watching us on YouTube. She jumped into the Feminine and Energy Academy, start seeing results. And I believe now her sister is in the process of jumping in as well. And make sure you take advantage. 7-day free trial. I'm going to go over these few points again, see if we have a couple more questions, and then we're going to get about our day. We have an exciting weekend planned. I know our ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy are excited as well. So want to get going with that. Let me see if we have a couple more questions. I'll go over the points again, and then I'll let you ladies enjoy your day. But Christina, if you once came off masculine because of self-protection mode, are you able to turn that around in a man's eyes? That's similar to the redemption question that someone asked earlier about being redeemed when boundaries have been crossed. And again, it's always a possibility, but it depends on the level of masculinity that you were functioning in as far as how open he would potentially be. Now, if you were coming at him, and then he got to a point where it's like, I'm done with you, that could be a lot more challenging. But remember, you're doing this for you. You're not doing it necessarily for him. Because whenever you're making changes within yourself, when you're noticing areas, and of course, I understand your situation, Christina, but whenever you're making changes, it's got to be for self first. You have to really commit yourself, like, I need to make this change because this isn't healthy for me. And Coach Tosh talks about it all the time, how things, when you're in your masculine, how it affects your hormones and things like that. She goes into that within the Feminine Energy Academy. But you making the change, as if you once came off masculine because of, when you make this change, of course, if the man loves you, if if he's made a commitment to you and he's seeing these changes, he might not just, want you jumping back into his arms, but men are watching. Men are saying, okay, I know she's in her, phase where she's healing. I'm watching her. And if you're fully healed and if you made the shift and you're committed to each other, then a man that's made vows to you, a man that's made vows before God is not going to leave you just because you're in your masculine. Now, if it's something that goes beyond that, when you talk about physical abuse, or if you're talking about infidelity, then I can't control that. But if he's made vows to you and he's committed to those vows, if you were once in your masculine and now you're no longer in your masculine and you've come into your feminine, a man having conversations with each other, a man will be willing to work with you. But again, and not work with you, but he'll be willing to move forward with you. But again, you're doing this for self. You're doing this because this is best for you, your hormones, your life, and he'll be the recipient of the new you. And if he's not willing to, then you still have to do it because remember, even being married, you want to do things and you want to make sure that you're attracting that healthy masculine husband. Even if your husband isn't functioning in that, you want to make sure you're doing it and you're speaking this over him. Even though he once was, he might have been in his feminine, he might not have been the man that you desired him to be. You have to speak it over him, speak that into existence instead of saying, and I'm not talking about you, Christina, but instead of saying, okay, well, he's not the person for me, I'm ready to move on. No, you're speaking it even though isn't that person. Because the last thing you want to do is go to a man, approach him, and tell him what type of man he needs to be. No, speak it over him, pray, script. What we talk about so often in the Feminine Energy Academy, script about it and just embody it, and you'll see how he begins to change. So once you make those changes, Christina, if he's committed to you, if he's made vows to you, if he's committed to God, which is so key, that's his moral compass. If he's committed to God, then as long as there's no infidelity, as long as there's no abuse, most healthy masculine energy men will be willing to start the process and see how we can work through it. So good. Man, it's so good. So many great questions from the ladies as well. So many great questions. Again, the 3 points that we went over for men, that what men value when choosing the woman that they desire to marry. Number one is the values you have, your family, your moral compass. These are so key for men because we understand that this is the place that you make your decisions. This is the baseline that causes you to make decisions. Number two, your attitude, and are you triggered? How do you respond in situations that don't go your way? Are you triggered and you just, you gotta let this out? You have to get this off your chest. That's not a healthy side that men look at and want to be with. And number three, your past as a woman. And we're talking about sexually, we're talking about in every area, how having a woman for a man who has a good past, a clean, not a, I mean, of course, nobody's past is clean, but has a past that's not following her right now, that doesn't give him a bad reputation, allows him to be respected, is so key for a man as well. So definitely, definitely make sure when you're looking at how to attract a man, you have these keys written down. But not only that, you start embodying it. That's why it's so important for you ladies who maybe been back and forth in relationships, have been in relationships that cycle off, that are hot and cold, good and bad. Ladies, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy so you can bring stability in that area, but it'll be throughout your entire life and get the healing you need. So you don't just jump from relationship to relationship looking at, okay, well, it was him, he did this, and each relationship is always him. You're always attracting narcissists. You're always attracting guys that aren't ready to commit. And what we talk about so much is these guys are just mirroring your energy. So a lot of the things you say may be true, but it's because they're looking at your energy, they're feeding off of your energy. And this is, in some cases, in a lot of areas, this is who you are. So you're attracting this person. So you want to get the healing you need so you can start attracting. Totally different. When you heal, you have more emotional control. And when you have more emotional control, you have more options. So definitely appreciate you all jumping on. I got to all the ladies in the Feminine Energy Academy, all your questions. If I didn't get to your questions, make sure, because we want to make sure we prioritize the ladies that's in there. Um, Definitely want to get to all your questions, but if I didn't, jump into the Feminine Energy Academy, a free 7-day trial. Ask your questions. You'll get a message from Coach Tasha right away asking you exactly why you're in there and what areas you want to work on. She'll send the audios to you and she'll help you start your journey, your healing journey in the FEA. You can also private message me. We have an Ask the Man section in there where you can ask any questions. I'll answer those questions for you. I'll go deep into giving you the answers you need. And remember, I'm going to give you the answers. A lot of times it's not what you necessarily want to hear, but it's the answer that's helpful to help you get out of the cycle of just competing to do things that aren't working with men, things that aren't beneficial to you, your kids, your time, any of that. We're here to help. Jump into the Feminine Energy Academy and we'll talk to you in there. So love you all. Thanks for jumping on this live today. Jump into the Feminine Energy Academy. We're releasing some new stuff and you can get it all in there. Appreciate you. See you soon.